Hello everybody, it's Aquawolf here, and welcome back to another relaxing drawing session. We are back. We are ready to draw, and we did do a poll where we were asking all the viewers between YouTube and Discord what we would like to draw next. So there was the choice between Pokemon, another Zelda theme, or we could have done some Fable, and it seemed like the majority of us wanted to do Pokemon. So I looked back at what we had done on the channel, and we did Pokemon Red at one point, but we also did Pokemon Silver, but only like half of it because the battery died, which is unfortunate. And then somebody on our Discord also suggested maybe do Ho-Oh. So the plan is, if I can just get this to function properly, we will be drawing a picture of the Ho-Oh and the Lugia, well, attempting to draw a picture of the Lugia and the Ho-Oh from the original Game Boy logos. So I have this picture launched over in my other screen, and hopefully we can make it look somewhat like that. We will see. I will also do some Bob Ross moments, I'm sure. Today we were using just a normal little pencil. I'm not fancy. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not like a pro. This is just for fun. This is for fun and relaxation and happiness, and I've got some weird lighting going on, so that's even better. And then we've also got some pencil crayons. These are just some generic pencil crayons. And I'll try not to shout in the microphone because this is supposed to be relaxing. Let me just set that down. We got them rolling around now. And we've also got these fun pencil sharpeners. I've got some, they look like fish. Because, why not? Why not? Why not? And for pen, we're just using like a generic ballpoint pen. And some nice erasers too. It's, voila. Actually, that one has a pencil on it. But yeah, nothing fancy. Just stuff that you buy at like a generic store. And we got some nice relaxation music going on that I do not own, and you can see who owns it in the description below. Please do not copyright me. Anyway, enough about that. So we're going to jump right in. I don't know how well this will turn out. This is only the second time that we've done this. I've got the not so great camera facing me because I figured everybody wants to see the picture. So I have the nice camera facing down. And this is what we did last time, and it seemed to work out okay. We'll see how it goes this time. So without further ado, let's start this drawing process, shall we? So yeah. So I'm gonna put Ho-Oh over here if I can just... I do best, for those that have never joined me on this before, I do best by like looking at the picture and then drawing it. If I try to use it out of my head, no, it ain't a good time. It ain't a good time for sure. But, anyway, here we go. So, I'm just seeing how much room we're going to have to take up with this by doing like a generic little outline of what this thing is going to look like here. I'm also going to try not to shove my face under the camera because I am known to be a paper hog. That's what I'm going to call it. Because paper hogs, I like get absorbed into the paper. Don't ask me how. It just happens. It just happens. Like I said, this is just a very rough outline. This is how I'm just going to see if this is actually going to fit. Because trying to wedge two Pokemon in at the same time is kind of difficult. And I'm going to tell you right now that it's not going to look identical. Which is fine. Totally fine. Yeah, see, already I know that that's not going to... So we're gonna have Lugia up here. I can at least start with Lugia, because I know that if I wedge Lugia in up here, you probably won't see the lines of the pencil very well on this at first, but it will get better as we get into inking and everything. But like I said, this is just a very rough outline. Because I want to make sure they fit, you know, you don't want to get halfway through and then be like, oh no, they don't fit. That's like the worst case scenario. Well, I mean, there's other worst case scenarios, but that's one of the worst case scenarios. And we have to remember too that this is it's like a marathon, not a sprint, right? Just seeing how this will so. And like I said, not gonna lie, like I can't guarantee that this will work out okay, but like I'll do my best. I'll do my best. And you know, if it doesn't work out okay, then it just shows, you know, don't be afraid to try, you know. Don't be afraid to try. Because I know that the first, I'm not gonna lie, the first episode, I was so nervous that I would screw it up. And at first I was talking to one of my friends and they said, like, why don't you do a live stream where you draw? And I thought, well, like, what happens? Like, what happens if, you know, you embarrass yourself? But they're like, oh, you'll do fine. Like, don't stress about it. Just do it for fun. And sure enough, did it not work out? It totally worked out. It totally worked out and nothing bad happened. Nothing horrible happened. Don't worry, Lugia will not look like it. You might not be able to see it, but it looks pretty rough right now. But that's okay. And I think its wings are a little too short. But this will kind of give a rough idea if this will even fit. Because that's the main thing for me right now, is will it even fit? And I'm sure there's some professional people out there that scoff at my little methods of my madness here. But I promise it'll look somewhat like a Pokemon. Yeah, so since I've wedged him kind of in this corner, I know I can bring Ho-Oh out a little bit. Because poor Ho-Oh is currently not going to be complete if I do it the way I have him. Because yeah, it's like kind of I've been miss half the wing and everything, and that would not be great for Ho-Oh. You know, kind of needs to fly. I remember when this game came out, I was so excited. Like, and my dad gave me, like, bought me a Game Boy, which I still have, by the way. It was a Game Boy Color, but it was the red version, like the, wow, that's weird. Sorry, I'm just looking at this wing. Totally need to fix that after, but that's okay. It was a raspberry red Game Boy, and I did not put that down. I did not. I think I lived with that thing. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to move that down a bit. It's good to know. And the Pokemon I don't know if it was gold or silver. I ended up getting both at some point. I don't know which one it was, but I got the guide to go along with it, and I still have the guide. Because Aqua was a hoarder, and addicted. 100% addicted. I think really the only other Pokemon game that really got me was Pokemon Sapphire, because that was the next thing, right? The next. Actually, I lie. It was Pokemon Crystal was the next thing, because Pokemon Crystal was like this game, but the characters moved. Like you had more animation. Loved it. And then it came to Pokemon Sapphire, which was awesome. Because it had like it had so much. It was the new system, the Game Boy Advance. And then, so I'm trying not to gab too much. I know it's supposed to be relaxing. But they had the little hidey holes that you could make like a fort in. Oh, it was awesome. That and dive. You learned how to dive, which was awesome as well. It was just awesome, you know? Just awesome. I can't say too much for the new games so much, just because like I'm losing track. I'll be honest. But any games I did play were pretty awesome still. They all have their new thing. Like I said, this is just a rough outline. You can kind of see the outline. I've tried to make it light so I can erase it if something's gone wrong. Okay, so I know that at some point I'll have to move the wing up, because Lugia is a little cramped in there. Actually, I'll do that kind of. I'll try not to be as aggressive with the eraser too, because everything's kind of like barely hanging on over here with cameras and whatnot. Last thing I need is you guys to get like shaken up. I also hope everybody's having a great day today. If you're not, you know, it will get better. And I hope this helps, because that's the point. That is the point. Something fun. Something to show that we're human, because, like, honestly, I don't practice this beforehand. I just kind of hope. I just kind of hope. There, at least his arm is kind of out a little bit more. And I'm only going with Lugia being a he because I remember the movie, but I'm sure there's multiple Lugias out there now. I feel like there's a few. I'm just gonna extend this guy, like his wing over here a little bit more, because it's kind of too short. Kind of does like a curve and then an up. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad that we chose, like, I like all the other games too, but Pokemon will always have a special place in my heart, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm glad we decided to do that this time. But if I'm gonna tell you what my hyper focus is, it's for sure Pokemon. For sure. Just gonna fix this entire wing. And like I said, it's a little light right now with the picture, but you'll see it when it gets a bit more. When it gets a little bit more detailed, I'll start pushing a little bit harder. And like I said, this is mostly for positioning right now, because it's Aquawolf is going a little bit more detail right now, but it's just a start. I think I made the fingers too big. I think this one's going to fight me just a little bit more than the last one we did, which is fine. I think it's because I want to do it right, you know. I want to do it right. And I got the body shape of Lugia. So now we can get kind of the body shape of Ho-Oh, which I'm gonna fix because he's way over here. We're getting the eraser in nice and early. Okay, so let me just see how to do this one, because I want his, okay, well we at least want this wing in, which is, still remember the first, I don't know if it was the first episode, I think it was, of Pokemon where the Ho-Oh flies over Ash and Pikachu. And you're like, what is that? And I like how they planned that, because like you don't find out until like a fair amount later of what exactly that was. Which is pretty darn epic. Now we got the fun little tuft of hair that they have. I guess it's not a tuft of hair, it's like feathers. I'm not gonna lie, this wig is extremely itchy. I think I say that in every single episode too. Not gonna lie, Ho-Oh is putting up a fight for sure. We will prevail, though. Birds can always be a difficult thing. The last thing we drew was birds too, actually. I think this seems to be a theme. Okay, well we kind of got the position of him. Kind of. There's something just not right now, so we're gonna figure that out. But definitely it has more tail over here. I always look forward to the coloring part. Okay, I'm gonna take a minute and look at this. I always find if I'm getting frustrated with one spot, if I kind of switch it up and focus on a spot that actually looks really good, like decent, and then I come back to that trouble spot, it's not so bad. Gotta take turns with the frustration. If you see something that looks like it's good and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna focus on that for a second. Then that kind of helps you think about the next problem, but have a moment to just take it in. Be like, what's wrong with this picture? Because I know the hair looks fine. If I just kind of make the body round, because that's what it is. That'll kind of help as well. And it won't look exact, you know. You do your best, but the only way I could ever make things exact is if I use trace paper. But that's just not the same, you know. It's not the same. It's got cute little toe beans right there. I know they're talons, but they look like little toe beans. Makes Ho-Oh sound less menacing. Toe beans. You know, I probably wouldn't want to meet a Ho-Oh in real life if that was a real Pokemon. Like if that Pokemon were actually a real thing. They would be terrifying. So I'm starting to take a little bit more shape on this because we don't need the vague look anymore. We can start focusing on what it actually looks like now that we kind of have the position. So now that we got the tail feather in, I can see that the wing kind of comes down here instead. The wig is very tickly on the face. And like I said, this doesn't need to be perfect. It never has to be perfect. I know a lot of us people who draw, we beat each other, like ourselves up, you know, because you look at something and you're like, I want it to look exactly like that. Like, I really want it to look like that. And it generally does not look like that. And then we beat ourselves up because we go, oh my gosh, like, how can I not get this? How is it so hard? But we just have to, like, we're human. We're not a machine. You could have a bad day with your drawing. You could have a bad day in general. That could affect how you're drawing. You just gotta forgive yourself, you know? It's just for fun. And I get a lot of people who say, but your drawings are so good, but you think I'm gonna find the error for sure. It's just how I am. But like I said, it's you gotta have fun doing it. Because I know, especially like if I don't feel like drawing, there's no way. I was counting how many, because there's a certain amount. Okay, so that's the underlying part, which theoretically should make this easier. We'll see about that. Because then there's like a whole other layer of wing here. Oops, I overshot that part. pencil crayons together. Push that over there. And they slowly get smaller and smaller, but they kind of still stay close to that edge. Kind of like that, kind of. But I think it's gone into the body too much now. So I'll have to think about that one. I think it's because this wing doesn't go all the way up like it should. It should kind of go like this. And it should kind of go out. That's what I think. The wings are always the hardest on any bird drawing. Like I said, we can fine tune it later on too. with that for now. And then we can fine tune it later, because I think these guys need to move up a little bit to make it kind of curve in. But I need a break from that part. Not gonna lie. That one's giving me a little bit of frustration. And we don't want that in a relaxing live stream. No frustrations here. We gotta find our inner Bob Ross. The inner Bob Ross is always nice. Put a little feather right there. We're definitely getting there. We are getting there. We have a bird that looks like Ho-Oh. Now that we have some of the feathers in here, I can kind of see where things belong. Because this should curve and go down. Which makes life easier. You can kind of see where things belong. I think I am going to do something a little different and do the inner feathers first. so funny seeing the wing without that outer part because it's so thin. Definitely having this part in first was 1,000 times better than what I did over here. There. That looks 1,000 times. I might go back to this now because it's a little different. Now that we can think about it a little bit better. So this was right. I'm definitely start cutting the angle a little bit better too, because it's supposed to be this way. Also fixing the tail feathers at the same time. That's what I really like about pencil. There we go. Ho-Oh is starting to look a little bit more like Ho-Oh. Which is always a good thing. Hyper focusing. It's definitely looking like a Ho-Oh now. I will fix this bottom beak a little bit. Make him look a little bit more menacing. Just a smidge. I think his mouth is still a little too large, but that's okay. I think we're doing pretty good, actually. This is starting to look like a Ho-Oh. which is awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I was putting up a big fight. Okay, so since we kind of have the outline of Ho-Oh, we're gonna move to Lugia, which he's kind of tucked up in this very tight corner over here, so let's see what we can do. Lugia has a heck of a lot less feathers. But something tells me he'll have his own set of annoyances, I guess you can say. I think my favorite out of the two, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say, but I do like Lugia. But Ho-Oh is something else too. And like, I don't know if it's because like Silver was one of, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that it, like, you know, they made the Pokemon 2000 movie and it had Lugia in it. I don't know. Connected more with it. Although I do really enjoy Ho-Oh as well. It feels like I'm definitely going to be fighting a little bit with Lugia today. In the nicest way possible. But that's okay. I like a challenge. Challenges are always good. trying to get that mouth. Definitely using the eraser today. Good thing I have a backup eraser. It's so funny because I thought Ho-Oh was the one that was going to give me the most hassle. But no. But that's okay. And right now he looks like he's quite happy to be attacking right now. It says this is great. Which, I mean, totally possible. You never know with those legendary Pokemon. But like I said, when things get a little aggravating, just move on to the next step and you'll revisit that later. Good news is we already did a bit of the wing. That kind of helps save a step, you know? we're looking okay so far, except for the face. That's pretty darn good to me. So we got that. Okay. Lugia is starting to look a little bit like Lugia now, which is nice. Things are starting to look up. But yeah, I do really enjoy the original artworks of Pokemon, like the coloring. I'm not saying I dislike the ones now, but it's a nostalgia thing, right? It's a nostalgia thing. For sure. So now I feel like I can revisit this a little bit because I feel a little happier. At least the jaw part, right? Yeah, we're looking a little bit like Ho-Oh. My goodness, we already did Ho-Oh. Lugia. And like I said, I have to just keep telling myself it's never going to be the exact same thing. Which is totally fine. Now that I look at it, the jaw doesn't go round. It's kind of like a little bit longer. And like I said, we'll return to the face later on too. Okay. Put a little leg right here. just like that. Kind of. We will see how that goes. But like I said, once you get kind of like a base as to where everything is, you can actually start filling it in a little bit more accurately. Because it is hard when you're just kind of guessing where things are at first. But I do want to originally, like, next time maybe we'll do next time we do a Pokemon one, do like a Gen 1 starter or something like that, or Gen 1 with the original artwork. Something. Something like that. Because I do enjoy the original way that they colored everything. Okay, well, our Lugia's looking decent. I think we could go with a little bit more of a I'm just going to double check that things look okay. So for the wing, I'm actually going to adjust this a little bit with the Ho-Oh. Not by much, though. There is a little gap there where you can see the feather. And then after the final check that I usually do, we can think about coloring it or using a pen. And like I said, it won't be the same. Because even this here, I can see Maybe I'll try and fix it while I can. Bear with me. There, the wing is starting to look a little bit more like the other one. Okay. Gotta fix that just a smidge. I'm just trying to see how these feathers all fit in. Okay. Let's see. So we got one. And 12. Had to count how many feathers. There we go. There, that's a little bit more neat and tidy compared to what it was. Okay. Just gonna stare at it another little bit to make sure it looks okay. Because once you ink it, that's it. Well, I think that's as good as that's going to get, so we're going to go with inking it. So we're just going to use a ballpoint pen. I'm going to try and get some stuff. Just going to try and get some pens going. And the key is to not smudge. I'm just going to put it on a box over here to make sure there's no... There we go. Last time I think we smudged the picture a little bit, which is fine because you can usually fix it with your when you color, but I don't like to do it. But here we go, make it permanent. No pressure. No pressure at all. I'm also trying not to like shove my face in the camera. This is the time where I don't even breathe because I'm just trying not to make the wrong move. Okay, so far we have a fair amount of success going on here. The key is not to hesitate. Because once you hesitate, it's like your hand just gives up. And you end up with some weird wonky line. Okay. We're looking good. I'm going to say that sometimes my pen work is not very great, but you can always make it up, you know? You can always budget. You can always make it look like you planned it. Okay, so that is Lugia. I'm gonna wait for him to dry because I think my pen decided to give him some extra ink in some spots. And if you go and try to do eraser with that, it'll just smudge all of it. So for now, we'll move on to Ho-Oh. Like I said, we'll just make it the best that we can. It won't be exact. But what's the fun of that if it's exact? Like I said, I tried to draw. Oh, thank you, Earth Angel 3011. I just saw you coming in. Yeah, you try to work from the top down because otherwise you put your hand in the ink and it just gets kind of everywhere. I'm sure there's better pens out there that, you know, don't do that. But you know what? It's fun to make a challenge. Oh, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm pretty humble when it comes to this. Like I said at the beginning, like most people who do art, they always criticize themselves pretty good. But it is actually turning out decent. Decent. I also noticed I didn't put the line in here, so I'm just going to make sure that when I put this line in that it's not going to look crazy before I go and ink it, because Ho-Oh needs a line that goes all the way to the hairdo. Call it the hairdo. Awesome. Awesome possum. Work on the tail. Getting there. Oh, does have a wild tail feather. Wild and free. I have to watch, because I did change this so much that I can't necessarily guess where those lines were going. Move the pencil out of the way. Get those little feathers going. Not gonna lie, Earth Angel 3011, it was a tougher start to this just because of the detail of Ho-Oh's feathers, and there was some choice thoughts, I guess I should say, because I didn't say them. But I thought them. It wasn't very Bob Ross of me. Not gonna lie. But I like to be real with people. Okay. So now I gotta watch where my hand is, because I did go over some of this with ink already. And we try not to smudge. I mean, if we do, it's not, like I said, it's not the end of the world. I feel like I'm ducking out of the camera here. I'm pretty sure I'm ducking out the camera a little bit. I guess as long as I'm not blocking our drawing, it's generally okay. Okay. That's where I don't blink or breathe for a second. Okay, we didn't blink or breathe, so seems to be okay so far. Okay, okay. One of my favorite parts is coming up with this. And that's the part of coloring, because that's when you breathe life into it. And it's not easy, but it's the easiest part in my mind. Well, here's the outline of Ho-Oh and Lugia. It looks similar. Getting close enough here. So now I'm going to carefully erase the pencil lines underneath. Hopefully there's some parts I'm a little nervous about with the ink. I think we're okay. Like I said, I'll try to do some gentle erasing so it's not like going to shake the whole table. I'm trying not to, I mean, I'm shaking the table, but I'm trying not to. Just toss that on the floor. Definitely need to vacuum after this drawing. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so that's all of Lugia. I'm gonna do some deeper lines on them too before we actually color them, because I like to have nice, like, solid lines. Also, not gonna lie, like, I love these erasers because they don't leave, like, streaks. Some erasers I've used in the past are like a hard rubber. Ugh. Just like streaks it all over. Especially like pink erasers. It's a no from me on those. Don't worry, we're almost done erasing. Okay. We are getting there. There is a lot of erasing today. Okay, I think that's it. So I'm just gonna make a bunch of ruckus for a second. Okay. So now we're just gonna deepen some of the lines with the pen again, and then we'll get into coloring. Because I like to have... This is also where you tempt fate. Because it's like, Aquawolf, do you really need to have them that deep? Like, chance you mess everything up. Apparently I do. I like to have these dark lines. I like to see where I'm going. And for sure there's a chance you'll mess up the whole thing. But it just looks so nice. Because when you erase, you kind of... I don't know, I find like it gets kind of light. Plus you're drawing on pencil, right, with the pen. So then you don't get the full effect of the pen. Ooh, that is a wet ink that I stuck my hand in. gotta remind myself at this point that patience is key. You'll get to coloring eventually, you just gotta take your time. Because that is one thing that, or at least one thing that coloring or drawing teaches you, is that you gotta be patient. Enjoy the process. Plus it kind of forces you to take time for yourself, right? It's like you can kind of shut off the world for a second to delve into your drawing. I have to keep telling myself, don't put my head down. I'll put my head right in the camera. Which would not really be ideal. Because like I said, I start trying to become one with the camera. One with the book. Not the camera, the book. I start like leaning like right into it. Yes, a unique coloring book, that would be fun. Aquawolf's coloring book. It is getting there. Like I said, at the beginning it's usually like, oh goodness, I hope we can do this. And then you start, and it's like, okay, things are looking a little weird, but you know, we're getting there. And then all of a sudden it kind of works out. You're patient enough. There are definitely days, I'm not gonna lie, where the creativity just ain't flowing. But then you just gotta be like, you know, it's just one of those days, you just gotta take a break. And like I said, we did a few times on here where we hit a hard part on this drawing, and it's like, okay, let's just focus on something else for a second. You know, get onto a part that looks good and makes you feel good. Work on that for a little bit, and then you go back to that hard part. And then when you do, all of a sudden it just clicks. You're like, oh, there it is. little bit of a mental break so you don't lose your mind. Okay, we are getting there. Okay, that's the tail feathers. Like I said, you just try not to put your hand in the wet ink because nothing is more fun than that. Nothing is more fun than that. But I do like to use the polls on YouTube and on Discord to understand what everybody would like for these drawings, because like I am trying to keep it game related, especially games that we've played. It's nice to know what everybody wants to see, you know? Everybody has their opinion on what to do. And it doesn't mean that we won't do the other stuff another time too. Like if... because we had Fable and all that, and it doesn't mean like we'll never do Fable. Or like another Zelda. Or like I try to do games that I know, because then you're kind of more invested in it and you understand what you're doing. But like as the channel grows and we try out new games, like it'll be nice to have different options. And trust me, we have a lot of games lined up. Including me wanting to revisit Pokemon Gold and Silver, because I think we almost made it to Lake of Rage, and it bothered me so much that the save had gotten deleted somehow and it would not save anymore. And I had replaced the battery too, but for some reason that battery just did not hold up. Okay. Almost done the second line. Bill. Like I said, it just looks more crisp when you deepen the lines. Okay. Almost there. I also noticed that there's some detail on the beak that we missed a little bit of, so we'll get there too. So, I'm just gonna do it in pencil before I go do something I might regret. I always rather be careful. When you get this close, you know, to finishing something. That eraser again once it kind of dries a little bit. Okay, so that is that. Now we get to do the fun part. This is my favorite part. So we'll start with Lugia at the top. So I'm going to start with a bit of gray, because Lugia in this picture is actually a little bit blue, but there's like an undertone of gray. Thank you, I appreciate that. I did freshly sharpen the pencils too. The pencil crayons. A little hint of gray. It's not a lot. It's a little bit. It's more of a blue when we get through here. Checking to see how it's done, because The older style has a nice look to it. It's like a watercolor work look to it, but we are not using watercolors. So we can do our best. Okay. So that's the gray in Lugia. It's very hard to see because it's very light, and I also noticed a little detail here on the tail. Just a little line. And a little bit of like a boop boop. Just a little bit of a boop boop. Okay, so now we're going to take this color because I think this is the color. And ever so lightly. It's like a very like Lugia is not super colorful. It's like a very subtle. It's almost like a whale. You know how whales are kind of grayish color, but they're kind of, they have a bit of a blue tinge to it. Like I said, in the original artwork, it almost looks like a watercolor that they do. ever so light shading of blue. We are slowly bringing Lugia a little bit to life here. Okay, so just trying to might add a little bit more gray because that's a lot of blue, but because it's supposed to be like a Pokemon Silver, it will be a little bit on the gray side compared to the blue. It's kind of like an in-between color. Like I said, it's very hard to get the color that they have on the actual game because it is like a watercolor. But we'll try our darnest. I am going to start with this light blue first. Then progress with this darker blue. Which kind of goes like this. Kinda like so. And then we also have, I'm going to start with, like, I like to do the layers of blues because there is some layers going on. It's mostly this darker. In fact, I think it's even darker blue than that. I have to go digging in the pencil case. Start over here. Let's see what I've got. Oh, I think I found it first go. That's lucky. That is lucky. Oh yes, that's the blue. There we go, that's a little bit more like the blue I'm looking for. And there's some small details on these as well. I'm just gonna add to it. and there's an extra little one I totally forgot right there. Just add that in. Just like that. There's the Bob Ross moment of the episode. Just add a little nook, a little bin, so to speak. Okay, out to that dark blue. Okay. We're looking like Lugia, which is great. It's definitely not as watercolor-like as the original, of course, but you know what? It looks like Lugia, so I'll take it. Definitely take it. Okay, so we gotta do the pink a little bit. Actually, I didn't have any pink out either, so let me grab that too. Oh, wouldn't you know it? It's meant to be. There it is. I do have red, but I do want to do a little bit of pink first. Just a touch of red. You don't want to go crazy. You don't want to make it look like Lugia's bleeding. Lugia has a black, I was gonna say black eye, technically, black pupil. There we go. I'll keep thinking to see if I need to do anything else with Lugia, but we'll stick with that for now. Okay, now Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is a whole other color palette. Let's start with yellow. Nice and yellow. I do like Ho-Oh's coloring for sure. Love me some color. Like I said, I do enjoy the way that they colored these Pokemon in the originals. It's like a nice fade, like there's like a fade to it. It's just great. As I knock over a pencil crayon. Like even the beak has a little bit of a fade to it, which is kind of cool. think that's all of the bright yellow that we'll need. So we're going to go a little bit into detail here and get a bit of a darker yellow going for certain parts. Kind of enhances the fade look to it too. Plus Ho-Oh is supposed to be a little bit golden, like not so much like a yellow, per se. It's a very yellow bird so far. Okay, so that should be it for yellow for now. Okay, I'm just gonna try and be quiet about those pencil credits, but it's here. Well, why not just jump right into, well, we could do like an orangey red for him first. And we're going to do it lightly because, like I said, it is a faded look to this. far, so good. Nice. It's always satisfying when plants coming together. Always a good time. Okay, so that's all of the red. That's the orange red that we had. But I'm gonna start darkening it up a little bit here with our actual red. I tried to sharpen the pencils ahead of time. Oh, I lied. There's actually his eye is red too. I do try and sharpen the pencils ahead of time so I'm not sharpening the ear, but I always do have pencil sharpeners just in case that happens. I had to say that was like perfectly timed too. That was a good timing thing right there. I didn't even try. Just in case the lead breaks 1,000 times. Okay, I think we got it maybe. Just toss it on the floor, it's okay. We'll fix that later. So now we can give him a bit of a bolder color. I am not trying to push extra hard because I don't want to keep breaking the lead on this one. Okay, that's that. Ho-Oh is looking pretty good. Are definitely getting there. So this is where some of the shading comes in here, because it's kind of like darker here, but lighter at the tips, which is kind of fun. But then some are completely the same depth of red. It's like an orangey red, so I'm gonna have to add, I might add a little bit of orange to it later on too. But as it gets closer to the bottom, this is where it starts kind of fading out again. Kind of like so. And this side doesn't have too much of a fade either for the red. I still remember the nighttime mechanic and whatnot on these games, and you go past the homes that were lit at night in the game, and it was just so cozy looking. Like the blue sky, like everything would be kind of blue, and then you'd go past these houses and you're just like, oh look, they have little warm lights on, like little yellow lights. Just so nice. If I remember correctly, there was the safari zone, or not the safari zone, the bug catching contest. I remember that. And that was a fun thing too. I'm gonna add a bit of gray to the really dark red spots that they have here, because it kind of turns gray. Not a lot, but a little bit. Ooh. My gray is starting to kind of bend funny too. That's going to be fun. But while I have the gray, I might as well do a bit of the stomach. That's where it's telling me to do it. Kind of like here. Which follows to the leg. Kind of like that. Okay. While we're at it, we might as well do the talons. Which are like a teal color almost. Kind of like so. And then we might as well do the black, because there isn't much black in this one. It's the pupil for the eye, which also needs to actually have a bit of shading here. So let me just work on this. Oops, I rolled a pencil. There we go. Kind of naturally have it come down a little bit. And then we have this black area here. And at the top you make sure that's very dark. And it kind of fades in one area there. Like that. Okay. So now we're going to go on to the green, which is the inner wing here. I'm going to move these pencils just a bit further because I feel like I knocked them about. So this is the fun part, is that there's like a white band follows. Like this. Just like that. I'm putting it in like this so I don't forget. Because Aquawolf gets a little wild when she starts coloring. And sometimes things get missed. So this is a preventative measure. Okay, So here we go. Here comes the coloring. I'll do the ends first because I know that as you get up higher, you're supposed to fade. It looks like it fades to like a white. Okay, so that's the tips of them. And then that's the green of that one. Okay, so that looks like it's the green. I don't think I have... I don't want to go any darker because I think it's pretty close to the olive green that they have there. I can see. I don't think I have... I am a little nervous to go any darker. I think I might just keep it as that. And then, oh yes, the green of the neck. Now this one we can do a touch darker on this side. Just going to be a little cautious with this because this green can be pretty intense. Thank you, Earth Angel 3011, for joining and playing around with our pencil crayons. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, yes. Might as well color the mouth in, I guess. I guess Ho-Oh needs a colored mouth. Can't leave it white. That'd be just wrong. Also realized, I'm gonna deepen the color on that tongue to the lines. I just realized I don't think we went over that again. Can't have that. Can't have that. Okay, so we'll do a bit darker here. Okay, so from there I'll do a little bit of red, just a touch, because again we don't want it to look like he's bleeding. Kind of like so. Kind of like so. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Yeah, I think I might try something a little bit here. Just hear me out, just hear me out. I'm gonna go a little crazy here. Because this blue just doesn't seem dark enough for me. So why not go bold? And just put some black in there. Just to really darken it up, you know? Because like it's a blue, but it's like a navy blue, you know? Yeah, like that. Why not go bold at the end of the episode here? At the end of our drawing session. See what happens. I think that's the color we've been looking for. Because like I said, it's like a navy blue. It's not like a bright blue. Yeah. That looks right. That looks more like what I'm aiming for. Kind of like that. Oh, there. I think I'm just making sure that that's it, because I don't want to say that's it if it's not it. Because I don't think I'm missing anything here. Because like it would be better if there was actual watercolor with this. But unfortunately, I'm going to add a little bit of this should be a little bit more blue too. Just a hair of blue, and maybe a little bit more gray too, because now I've kind of unevened it. I gotta balance it out, you know. Since we're going bold here. Oh, the joys of artwork. Okay, well, I think that's it. Which is crazy. But it actually kind of looks like them, so that works out. Oh, thank you for everybody who watched and who was in the live. And even if you're lurking, like, that's awesome. And anybody who's watching afterwards, I mean, like, thanks for coming on this lovely journey of relaxing drawing live stream. It's very weird for me to just talk normal. Because usually I'm screaming at the computer on a video game. So it's very odd for me to talk in a normal tone, but I appreciate it so much. This is actually, it's kind of nice to unwind for the day, you know. As much as sometimes it can get a little frustrating with the drawings, it's always a fun time, you know. And if you ever mess up, you just add something. It's like a Bob Ross moment. You just add a little tree somewhere. Last time I messed up the grass a little bit, you just color over it a little bit more. Like, whatever. It can be pretty forgiving. It's pretty fun. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button. If you want to see more of my videos, so I do have another drawing live stream that I did in the past where we did two loft wings from Skyward Sword. If you want to go check that out, definitely take a look. Most of my videos are of gaming though, so if you want to check those out, I do live streams of video games too. So hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and it'll let you know when I'm uploading new videos, when I'm doing live streams, hanging out, chillaxing. We also have a Discord. I put it in the description below, and we also have it on the YouTube channel. So if you ever want to come chat about artwork, I have like a little artwork spot where we can all share our artwork. I got like game spots where we can talk about games. Fun stuff like that, you know. Human stuff. Stuff where we all have fun, you know. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all. Oh, go grab a snack. Yes, I might grab a snack. We'll see how it goes. It'd be a midnight snack, but I grab a midnight snack. I hope to see you all in the next episode. Bye for now.